As we are rooted in connection at Decospan, we'd like to connect different perspectives around wood. In this episode, we talk with two of our clients about their specific experiences with veneer, uncovering cultural differences and universal truths.
Rooted in connection. Rooted in design. Rooted in nature. Rooted in craftsmanship. Rooted in innovation. Join us and explore the spirit of wood. Welcome to Rooted In, a Decospan podcast.
All right. Hi and welcome. In our, it's the last episode of our Rooted In podcast. I have together here with me Lou Olivera, General Manager at Dixie Plywood from the US. I have Peter Runge, Sourcing Manager at Keflico, Denmark. And Dean Hogan, Sales Director from the US, from Decospan. I'm Annelien Boulaert, I'm your host for today, digital marketeer. Only at Decospan for 2 years, so actually a veneer apprentice, which is why it is so interesting to sit together with you today at this table to deep dive into your experiences with veneer. So I'm convinced that I learn a lot, and the listeners as well. But maybe before diving into that, let me also give you the chance to introduce yourselves and the companies that you're working at. Maybe Peter, you can start. Can you give us a bit of context on Keflico?
Keflico is one of the major distributors in Denmark, placed in Jutland in Denmark. We have a storage facility around 14,000 square meters. I'm the sourcing manager for these kind of products and have been working together with Decospan for something like 12, 13 years, I think.
Yeah, that's already a long partnership.
It is a long partnership, yes. I've been in and out of the business a little bit, so it was funny for me to come back after 4 years away to see how things were moving. And when I came back, we got started firstly a little bit with the Keflico collection and later on the Shinoki that we took in on stock to try to develop, to move to the next step.
Yes. Okay, good. Thanks for that introduction. Lou, what is your experience at Dixie first, and maybe also in partnership with Decospan?
Yeah, I've been with Dixie Plywood and Lumber for 39 years. We started with Decospan probably about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Bringing in the raw veneers laid up on panels and the Shinoki panels as well. We are in 5 states in the eastern part of the United States. We are a employee-owned company, and we have 11 centers that distribute products to the different fabricators and carpentry shops.
It's all kind of products?
All kinds of products, wood products, and also building materials.
Okay.
For exterior applications.
Okay, clear. And maybe Dean, you as well. What is your experience? What led you to Decospan in the first place?
Well, I'm Dean. I'm with Decospan. I'm a sales guy for the eastern region of the U.S. I've been in this industry for 30 years now. I started out at a slicing facility. So I went all the way through from slicing to splicing to grading to laying it up on plywood to all kinds of different things. Then an opportunity came up to work for Decospan, and I jumped on it. I've been very happy now for 9 years with Decospan. We're an amazing company, and we have a lot of good people and awesome partners.
Okay, you look happy, so that's already a good thing.
Yes.
All right, so let's dive into it. As said, I'm looking at this from a marketing perspective, and I come across a lot of projects which we like to highlight, great projects with our products. And something that's struck me is that there are a lot of differences if you look at projects that are coming from indeed US, Denmark, France, even UK. There are a lot of different differences that you sometimes spot. And is it linked to culture? Is it linked to application? There's a lot of differences, in fact, in applying veneer and also in design that are particularly interesting. So I thought let's maybe put together also those different perspectives and dive into that. So maybe starting with a very general question, how would you capture your particular region's relationship with wood and wood veneer in a couple of sentences. Maybe Peter, if you want to start.
I think that one of the things that characterize the way that we see things is that if it needs to look like wood, it needs to be wood or veneer, meaning that there can be some alternatives with the melamine, with the laminates and so on, but it's not that common. We are a little bit picky in a sort of way that we want the real deal. We do not like imitations.
Yes.
Actually, that doesn't change much if you're talking about some concrete things or stone or something like that. If it's supposed to be stone, we choose stone. Coming back to the veneer, if it's supposed to be wood, we will choose wood.
The real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Authenticity in some way.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a similar approach?
In that regards, it's similar. I think people want something authentic. They do choose wood over another product. If they want to get closer to nature, and they'll choose wood instead of a synthetic, product. Where it may differ is depending on the style or they'll go from a natural wood to like a engineered wood product that is still wood, but it's just processed differently. And then you get more longer patterns and things of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I think wood is, in its own class. Wood can easily take the place of a melamine product and, give you a higher quality and a better look, whereas the melamine product cannot have the character that wood has, because wood is, each log is its own person, we'll call it.
Yes.
It cannot be repeated. Each one has its own character. But at the same time, because it's wood, we can do different things with matching and book runs and log runs and all kinds of things you can't do with melamine and still have that very warm feeling that you get from wood. Melamine for me is cold. It just doesn't give you that feeling and that rich look that wood can give you.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember the first time that you came across veneer?
Yeah, actually I do. I was a kid and I was in a casino and I saw this. My parents took us to a casino. That's right.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I saw, and it was bird's eye maple that I saw the first time, and I was like, "What is that? Oh my gosh!" So I asked one of the guys at the table, and he said, "Oh, that's bird's eye maple." And ever since then, I've always, everywhere I am, I always look at what's on the wall, or what's on the floor, or what's on the furniture, and I can identify it. I've learned so much from wood over the years. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any similar stories?
Yeah, just a few weeks ago, I went into a store and buy my wife a Mother's Day gift, right? And you go in, it's a nice store, and all the casework was done in a synthetic, panels and stuff like that. But the main wall had a crossed cherry wall, and it was just the most beautiful thing you ever want to see. So that just popped, and it brought the whole store, and that was the emphasis of the whole setting. So that's something that you can really only achieve with wood.
Yeah,
that's right.
True.
It leaves something in your memory.
Yes, yeah.
Something
You will
positive
never
in your
forget
memory.
that. You'll never forget that.
You agree, Peter?
Yes, absolutely. But I think that my background is a little bit different because I come from the melamine. I was raised in the melamine and the laminate business. So my moment with veneer came maybe a little bit later.
Okay.
Because it was we had a project that we worked on with Dixie France, where we found out what are we actually able to do. How can we treat it? How can we do like this and this? And that was when I found out that you can actually achieve both this very warm feeling, as you talked about, that you can combine that with this very structured way that things were.
Okay.
So that was maybe a little bit more in the commercial view how I discovered it.
Yeah, okay. Maybe making the switch then indeed to veneer usage and customers. What are the main questions you receive from customers when it comes to veneer?
I mean, one of the things that we receive is it available? They want to make sure that what they are looking for, they want to see samples, especially in wood, because it can change from one lot to the other as far as tone and color before they approve the product. Other than that, they want to make sure that it's available. That the sample is what their principal on the job is going to approve. That's very important.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's clear what the benefits are of indeed veneer and how it's cut, sliced, what the final look looks like?
Yeah, I mean they most of the time they have a certain want and need where the customer may want a mismatched, or they want a quartered sliced or a riff cut, which is very linear. Depending on the project, if it's a minimalist look to it, then they'll usually go with a very linear riff cut wood, which flows and very simple. There's not much character to it. So it all depends on what they want to achieve on the project.
Yeah, and to Lou's point, there's a lot of things that you cannot get from any other product except wood, like the character. So somebody could say, oh, I want a really flaky looking veneer, and you're never going to be able to get that from a melamine.
No.
Not one time, or a bird's eye that looks really nice, or some really good figure. You can only get these things from wood.
And do you have the impression that you need to educate customers about that, or is the knowledge there?
No, I really don't think the knowledge is there as much as it is from people in the industry.
Yes.
I mean, and I hope it's okay to say these things, but the average person on the street, if you put a melamine oak and you put a real wood oak, they're not going to really know the difference. You have to create a story on the wood and explain to them why it's a real product, and it's a richer product, it's a warmer product than this melamine is.
Yes.
So it's really about educating the consumer, and that's done through distribution and mill workers for the most part.
Okay. So education is important. It's something that we need to continue focusing on. Do you see any other shifts with your end customers in the latest years? Things that have changed?
I see a bit of a, how shall I say, polarization. I see that some customers, they really don't care. We can go with the lowest rate. We can go with a B quality commercial, and customers, they just want the veneered board. But then if we start discussing with customers who has specific demands, even though a classic A quality, it's simply not good enough. Because can we get like this and this, and can we do it in a different way? So I see this way that things are being either really searching for the good qualities, or it will just be a commercial quality, one fits all crown cut.
Okay.
Right. There's not much room for that happy medium. There's either one extreme or the other. Yeah. One of the changes that we've seen of how the fabricators look at it also is that they have a hard time getting skilled, labor. So when you provide a product that sort of like the, Shinoki that is finished, that just opens their eyes to opportunities. Because let's face it, they may not have the manpower to be able to do the finish, or in many instances, we have certain environmental issues where, they need a special booth to do the finishing, and many of these new shops do not have that set up. So if you can offer them a finished wood product, as much
that helps them.
That helps them, yeah.
And maybe especially, as you said, that having a finished product.
So actually, we try to unburden the customer more and more. Right?
Yes. Exactly.
It definitely opens up the market more. But I agree with what these guys are saying. There's been a shift on the customer side of things where they want consistency.
Yeah.
The most important thing that they're looking for is the color consistency.
Yes.
Not so much the grain, that's not as important as the color consistency. And it's getting harder to find quality, color consistent material. That's where DecoSpan comes in. We have the solutions on that. We have quality, we have color control. We have Shinoki. There's so many different things that we do to help the market.
Yeah. Maybe one other aspect that we have not touched upon, which I think would be interesting, because I do think that there's a difference looking at a US perspective and maybe a European perspective, is everything with regards to sustainability. Do you get those questions already, Lou?
Yeah, well, I mean, we do get them, but you're right. I think the Europeans are much more involved with that. I mean, we as a company, Dixie Plywood, we've been, for example, FSC certified for like almost 2 decades. And where is important is on projects that are more, commercial applications, hospitality. They're more into the sustainability and low emission, trying to get lead points on certain projects. So you see it less on say private homes.
Okay.
Projects. But we are starting to see it on products coming in already, FSC, whether it's panels, engineered wood. So it's becoming more, prevalent, but not quite yet as the, Europeans.
Yes, yes. Peter, how is that with you?
I think that, especially in the Scandinavian countries, I think we're known for being a little bit, I wouldn't say hysterical, but taking really sustainability to the next level, because we really go with that. And at Keflico, we are above 90% of all material altogether is certified in a certain way. So dealing also with the Dickerspan, we always demand as a minimum PFC on material and FSC if possible.
Yeah.
And there is a strong demand from customers that this definitely needs to have some kind of certification.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is that the same in the US or not?
It's becoming more and more.
You get the questions.
You get the questions.
Yeah.
And many customers may not be, say, FSC, certified themselves, so they kind of break the chain of custody there. But they want to buy products that are FSC certified. You get that more and more, and it's a matter of education. And we do a lot of that through the A&D community, where we do, we sponsor events that talk about FSC and LEED and all of that.
Yeah. We have been touching upon Shinoki already briefly. You're both experienced with Shinoki, because we're moving from, on the one hand, we talked about education, we talked about sustainability. Now it's also about looks that can be different in different markets. Do you see some kind of look that is more attractive in the market? Do you see a winner or not really?
No, I mean, there's definitely, in our market, like in Florida, the white oak, rift cut, quartered, the walnuts in a quarter cut, the fumes, like any eucalyptus with a fume process. They're all hot items right now, and they're being spec'd.
Okay.
So you guys are hitting all the targets. For sure.
Good to hear.
For sure.
Do you have a favorite, Lou?
I mean, I like the frozen walnut look. That's one of my favorites. But I also I like the natural oak, the ivory oak. I mean, and they're really good sellers too.
I was going to add a little bit something on that to what Lou's saying. And for our market, Lou and I are in the same market. From the top of the coast to the bottom of the East Coast, it's very uniform as to what people want. It is oak and it is walnut. So they always pick the ivory oaks, the milk oaks, the desert oaks, the Manhattan oaks, and the frozen walnut and the pure walnut. Those are definitely on everyone's top of their list, and we hear about those every day, right? And it just keeps growing and growing and growing when people get turned on to the Shinoki, especially in the oaks and the walnuts. It's we keep on educating people, but you're getting more and more feedback now too, and more questions. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay. The future of wood. Do you see any evolutions or things that will be changing in the next coming years that you think will be impactful?
I mean, as far as the technology, I mean, where they can basically do, blueprints and they can insert metals and have, wood and metals in the same tabletop. The techniques that they're doing now are just, incredible. So they're using wood, metals to, complement each other, and I've seen some beautiful jobs, and also, how they're splicing the veneers, how they're cutting them. They're so thin, so there's very little waste. So it's good for the environment.
Yeah, you get a lot more out of the log.
You get a lot more, yeah.
That evolution continues further. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Any additions from your end, Peter?
Yeah, because I think that coming back to it again and again and again is the question about sustainability. So in that way, I think we will see more in this direction. Also talking about, instead of using solid wood, that the outcome of the good logs, which are becoming more and more rare, it will increase the demand for the veneer in that way. So more focus on sustainability and more thinking about environmental issues is definitely something that I see.
Wasn't that also something that you mentioned before, that it's even in regulation that wood is also being promoted as being to be used in construction more?
There is both from a government side, but also on the in the industry are really pushing things connected to the CO2 footprint.
Yes.
On matters that wood is definitely coming also for bigger construction areas with the CLT and so on coming into the market.
We're almost already at the end of our podcast. I would be interested also to learn, are there any questions that you have, maybe from your perspectives on indeed how things are working in the US versus Europe? Are there things that you would like to ask each other?
I think that I see some difference. I think that in the US, the US market, I think, is more open to different kind of species. I think that we in Europe, and especially in the Scandinavian countries, we like to use veneers that are growing almost outside of our doors. So having this oak, partly also pine actually, and ash, that is the central use of veneered boards in Denmark. We don't see that much of, let's say, walnut or mahogany or cherry or something like that, because there is some understanding about that we want to use what is close to us.
Yeah, that's a clear point, indeed. Lou, what about you?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think the U.S. being such a large market, we have the Northeast, the Southeast, the West Coast. Like for example, the West Coast is probably one of the most European in a sense that they're looking after the sustainability of the products. They're more eco-friendly than say the Southeast. Certain species are more prevalent. You go up to the Northwestern and you'll find alder and fir. You don't see that in the Southeast as much. So there's difference. But we do have so many products coming from all over the world. So we're influenced, greatly, in more in certain areas than others. More areas like in the Midwest, I would say they're more. That's the way it is, and that's the way, it's hard.
We don't want anything new, and this is the way we've always done it, and this is the way we're always going to do it. And
it's a harder, change.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
For me, at least in my region, it is very uniform with the customers. But what's great about the U.S. and my territory is the more you talk about the different species of wood, the more interest you get. So you can walk into a job where someone says, "Oh, I want this anagray." And you say, "Well, anagray is nice and all that," but then you may show them something else on an alternate. They're very open to making a change if they see something they've never seen before. or they didn't think about using. There's always room to educate and try to influence somebody in their decision when it comes to wood, because there's so many choices. But the whole East Coast is very, very open to that, except for Lou's Point, where some of that tight Southeast is just about maple and red oak and white oak, plain slice. They're not really interested in rift, but there's always room to educate and bring new things to people.
And the other, big difference, it's because we're in the South, we get a lot more moisture than being in the, Denmark, or so you have other issues to deal with. Which wood, it's more stable. So the customer takes all of that into consideration when they're selecting what wood they're going to use on a certain job. Is it stable? Is it going to warp or delaminate or some issue like that? So that's very important.
Okay, all right.
I think that we go maybe a little bit in a different direction, because when we want this variety in looks and so on, then we go into and we seek within the Quercus collection to see what kind of different cuttings or slicing methods can be achieved. And that will be the part of the solution that we come with. And then with the Shinoki, it really underlines what you can do if you stain it. So instead of taking something that comes from South America or something like that, we would rather go with an oak, which can be stained or in some way pigmented or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's indeed a different perspective. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you so much for already sharing all those thoughts. I have a final question, and that's actually about the spirit of wood, which we try to live every day at Decospan. What is the spirit of wood for you, Dean?
The spirit of wood for me is, I think of wood as like a person. So like we all start as babies, right? And as we grow, we become more experienced and we get more character, and that's the same thing with wood. As it grows, it could have burls grow on it. It could have cancers on it, which are really beautiful burls. Every log is different, just like every person. They all have character, and that's not something that you see. That's not a real natural product like wood. So for me, the spirit of wood is just like a person. Everyone's unique.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lou?
I mean, for me, it just adds value to anything that it gets involved with. In whether it's a home, it adds warmth to the home. In a application that is not it's like a courthouse or a commercial, it just brings a certain look that nothing else can do.
That nothing else
and
can compare.
it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the spirit of wood to you, Peter?
I think authenticity is the key word here.
You were saying,
Because this is natural. This is how things should be, and this has this warmth and it has this feeling of something natural. So this not artificial look and feel that is for me veneer and wood.
It's real. It breathes. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It moves.
Exactly.
It moves. Correct.
I think that is the universal truth that we definitely uncovered here, that we all agree upon, aside from some things that are indeed different. But we do spot a lot of agreements, I think, and a lot of things that are similar. And it's indeed about the passion for wood, the real thing, authenticity. And in looks and in preferences, we can differ. But in essence, that's what it's all about. That's what I remember from our conversation.
For sure.
Thank you so much for joining this podcast. It was lovely talking to you.
It's great.
Likewise.
Hope the listeners back at home also enjoyed our conversation. If anything, they can also probably visit your websites if they want to know more about Dixie or Keflico. Of course, that counts also for Decospan. And everything can be found in the show notes under the episode on Spotify. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.